I'm the type of person that really has to have some passion. When I wake up in the morning, I need to know I'm making a difference somewhere. But I thought, what a great thing to write a story for my grandkids. And so that's where I started. And then also, by that time, I had gotten into helping other people publish their children's books, because the crazy amount of fraudulent things that were going on out there, predatory publishers, people just being really confused and not knowing where to turn, these people just pounced on them, and just, people spending $20,000, $30,000 on something and getting just lousy quality. So I was like, I can help here. What can I do to make a difference for these folks that really need the help?
Welcome to the Stark Reflections on Writing and Publishing podcast. There has never been a better time for writers. More information, options, and opportunities are available to you, but navigating these requires insight. Join Mark Leslie Lefebvre as he draws upon more than a quarter century of experience as a writer, a bookseller, and a trusted book industry consultant to explore and reflect on the writing and publishing landscape to help you make informed choices on your writer journey.
Hello, Reflectives, and welcome to episode 331 of the Stark Reflections podcast. This is your host, Mark Leslie Lefebvre. In today's episode, I have an interview with April M. Cox, who's an author, coach, CEO, and founder of Little Labradoodle Publishing. April has successfully guided over 1,500 authors from manuscript to a high-quality self-published book through her 90-day signature program, Self-Publishing Made Simple. Now, April is passionate about helping authors navigate the treacherous waters of self-publishing, particularly the waters that are rife with those who seek mostly to take advantage of and gouge authors with overexpensive services that they do not need. We talk about that. We talk about April's publishing, why she got into writing children's books, and we talk about the forthcoming summit that she's running from December 4th through December 8th, 2023, a virtual summit, and I am one of the speakers. But before we get into that, let's first hear a word about this episode's sponsor. This episode is sponsored by my affiliate link to the 2023 Author to Authorpreneur Summit, which takes place December 4th to 8th, 2023. Transform your passion to profit. Unveil the business behind the book and elevate your business acumen with more than 35 industry-leading authorpreneurs. Are you an author ready to journey behind the written word and into the lucrative world of authorpreneurship? Do you aspire to turn your literary passion and creativity into a thriving business? Perhaps you're interested in leaving your day job and following your passion for full-time writing. Join the best and brightest in the publishing world, focusing around their own personal entrepreneurial journey, tips and topics that will help you grow your business. Transform yourself from an author to a best-selling authorpreneur with 5 days of informative sessions. Grab your free pass today. Now, I am one of the more than 35 speakers who's appearing as part of this summit, and the summit is free, which means you can absorb the content during the live broadcasts. Premium passes are, of course, available for anyone who wants to gain lifetime access to all the sessions to view at any time, plus some exclusive bonuses will exist for members. And that's where my affiliate link comes in. So if you're interested in signing up for this free summit, please use my affiliate link, which you can find in the show notes for this episode or at starkreflections.ca/authorsummit2023. That's starkreflections.ca/authorsummit2023. This is going to be a relatively short personal update. I'm going to skip comments for this week. I am on a huge deadline. I'm going to be in Vegas the week of November 5th through the 11th. And I still have 2 presentations to get to them before the end of the week, which means I have 2 of my 3 presentations. I've already submitted the PowerPoint for the first one. And anyone who knows me knows that I always do the PowerPoints like the morning of, usually. But I wanted to get them up early. And unfortunately, I just got my recent COVID booster and flu shot. and I'm actually having some side effects from the COVID booster. Not anything significant. I just have a lot less energy. And of course, I'm doing that because I want to protect myself. The most recent boosters now available to people in my age group here in Ontario, but I don't have much energy, and I have so much work to do. I have so much homework with my master's program. I have presentations to get together, and of course, I have to do not only this episode of the podcast, but because I'm going to be in Vegas all next week, I need to pre-create the content for episode 332 so that I can pre-schedule it for next week. And again, anyone who knows me really well knows, whoa, Mark never does things ahead of time. Who knows? Maybe I won't get it done. Maybe I will have to struggle while I'm in the hotel room. But the acoustics there are just horrible. And I have done it before, but I'd rather be able to get things done in advance. For a change. Other updates is I am, 2 days into NaNoWriMo 2023, and I am a little bit ahead of the game, just maybe a couple hundred words ahead of the daily schedule. I know I'm going to fall behind when I'm in Vegas. However, if I do get these presentations done this week, maybe I'll actually have time in the hotel room in the morning to actually get 1,666 words written every day. It's not really that much. I should be able to get some of that done. Fingers crossed. I have prepared. By the way, I saw somebody posted on one of the Facebook groups for the 2023 20 Books Vegas group. Because these hotels basically want you to go and buy their overexpensive coffee, etc. I always have to go out and get in line for forever to pay really a lot of money for really crappy coffee. But what I did do is I bought a collapsible kettle that I'm bringing with me. I have some oatmeal, instant oatmeal packages, and I've got some of those really cool, handy instant coffee packages from Starbucks. So I shouldn't have to leave, except maybe to get the first cup, and then I'll just keep rinsing the cup out and maybe some sort of bowl or dish for my oatmeal. But I'm trying to be really prepared. I know it's so unlike me. But anyways, so all that being said, I am, like I said, I'm going to forego comments, etc. But thank you guys so much. I will be getting back to comments in just a couple weeks. And why don't we get into my conversation with April? April, welcome to the Stark Reflections podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, I'm delighted to have you in the virtual studio. Before we dig into authorpreneurial enterprises, let's give our listeners a little bit of a background about, so who is April Cox?
I am a former IT and still a bit of a geek who left the corporate world to do this crazy thing called publishing, self-publishing.
Whoa. Wait a second, but IT is needed everywhere, and publishing
is. And you know what? I find that IT is so valuable. My background in consulting and IT have really served me well with the publishing world. So I love that. But I was 35 years in corporate America. I was so glad to leave the corporate world and the cubicles behind. And I get up every morning with my feet hitting the ground, excited because I know I'm going to be there on the other side of a Zoom window when somebody is clicking publish for the first time. So I have been helping authors, and it is just an amazing, fulfilling, wonderful thing. And how many people get to say that their job is helping make other people's dreams come true, right?
That is magical. I'm curious then. So the allure to publishing from the IT world that you were consulting in before, were you always a reader, always interested in that realm?
Not at all. I didn't.
Really?
I mean, normally what I consumed from a reading perspective was all about was for the purpose of increasing my knowledge. I'm not really a reader for pleasure. Mm-hmm. But I would consume things, and in the consulting world, you need to really learn and drop into areas that you may not have any knowledge about and really come up to speed very quickly. So that was kind of my background, is that parachute jumper that would drop in and figure out what was going wrong and fix it. I started as a programmer and then as a project manager and leading multi-million-dollar rollouts for the corporate world. Places like Northrop Grumman and CVS Health and just lots of really huge projects. And I loved it. I loved it until I didn't. And you after a while, the corporate grind gets to you, the whole bureaucracy, at least it did for me. And then I started having grandbabies. And
Mm.
boy, oh boy, my world opened up when those grandbabies came. And so reading and falling in love all over again with children's books with them just opened my eyes so much. And I was at a point in my career where things just stopped being fun.
Right.
I'm the type of person that really has to have some passion. When I wake up in the morning, I need to know I'm making a difference somewhere. And I didn't feel like I was doing that.
Right.
So I decided, gee, maybe I just need a passion project. I didn't ever start this out thinking I was going to leave my corporate world, but I thought, what a great thing to write a story for my grandkids. And so that's where I started and just fell in love with it and, prayed for an exit plan because I was really loving so much of this. And, as fate would have it, I was delivered that exit when my company merged with another and my department ended up getting phased out. So I was lucky enough to get a year's severance package. And that gave me enough to say, hey, I'm going to try this thing because I'm really loving children's books and publishing children's books. And then also by that time, I had gotten into helping other people publish their children's books because the crazy amount of fraudulent things that were going on out there, predatory publishers, people just being really confused and not knowing where to turn and getting these people just pounced on them and people spending $20,000-$30,000 on something and getting just lousy quality. So I was like, I can help here. What can I do to make a difference for these folks that really need the help?
Oh wow. I love that. I love the passion for wanting to be there for people and prevent them from falling prey. Is this where Little Labradoodle Publishing came from? It
So
sounds like
the
it's meant for younger readers, I'm guessing.
so the Little Labradoodle Publishing came from my own publishing. So I've got
Okay.
8 books of my own for the Little Labradoodle series, which is
Right.
my own children's books for the
Yeah.
grandkids. It was a legacy project. I wanted to make sure that I was, that something else went on when I was no longer here.
Right. Yeah.
So I wanted to leave something behind for my family, and I was having a great time with my grandkids and illustrating them into books. But also I wanted my values to stay behind for them
Right.
and I found that not only was it really well received by my own family, but a lot of other kids and a lot of parents wrote in about how much they really appreciated the stories and how much their kids loved them. So it was all about, like let's not make this something that has lessons that beat kids over the head. Let's make it a story that kids really love and identify with, that they keep bringing back over and over again for the parents to read, but that the parents can use as a springboard for
Right.
deeper discussions and let them decide what's the appropriate level of sharing with that child. So that's kind of the Little Labradoodle Publishing. Um, and that was the beginning of me getting my books out there and learning the whole publishing process, which I was very surprised to find was pretty convoluted. And there's a lot of pitfalls along the way. And my consulting background, I was like, this has to be fixed, that has to be fixed. What can we do with this? And my brain and the consultant in me and the programmer and the project manager in me was like, I was reassembling and creating all kinds of tools and templates to make it easier for myself. And then when other people were struggling, I was sharing those and just getting together with people saying, hey, just join me. I'm getting ready to do my new book. Does anybody want to put a work group together and let's just do our books together? And that's how this whole, author work group started. And now it's graduated more than 1,500 authors. I've personally helped 400 people publish their books.
Wow.
Last year we did 127, my team, and then this year it's probably be closer to 200 for this year, and it's just amazing. And I'm constantly looking for ways to improve. How can I avoid any pitfalls that came up along the way?
Right.
If there's something that held one of my authors up and where they stumbled, how can I prevent that from happening in the future? So just
Right.
continuing to refine and refine and refine. And now I've got it to where you can come in and 12 weeks later be published with a children's book, which is no small feat, considering that you have a fully illustrated picture book that has to happen in between everything, the writing and the editing and the design and the publishing.
Wow. I love how you combined all of the experiences you had as a grandmother reading, again, reading books to young children, and the consulting and your own experience publishing, to take that all together and say, what can I do to help others? Because I mean, you and I, you alluded to this, but it's so true. Publishing a novel is hard enough. Publishing a text-based novel where there's all kinds of free tools for layout and design that you can use from Vellum. Well, Vellum isn't free, but Vellum and Atticus are two of the most popular ones, where you can use the built-in tools on KDP or Kobo or Draft to Digital or whatever. But it's a whole other challenge, and I would say it's a huge frustration and often a huge cost for writers when they realize, oh, I have to do special layout and there's no really free tools available. So you step up and well, bravely run into the fire, because that's an area where myself, when I go to help authors, I'm like, yeah, so reflowable books that are chapter books for adults or whatever are one thing. This is a whole other thing. You need an expert. You need someone who really understands physical layout and design, right? Because that is a whole different world, isn't it?
Oh gosh, it is. And I've had so many people come to me after the fact, and they come to me saying, I'm ready. I think I'm ready to upload everything to Amazon. I've heard about you from so and so, and could you just help me upload to Amazon and get my keywords and categories and everything ready? And then I look at what they've got, and I have to back them up, because the cover design's not good, the interior is not laid out the way it should be, and there's real things that I would say, this is not going to sell well if you don't fix these things. And the first time that this happened to me, and the woman on the other end, who was probably in her 50s, and she just started crying on a Zoom meeting. And I was like a little taken aback, and I said, what's the matter? And she said, I just spent $26,000 for a publisher to give me this. I was just floored.
Publisher. He says with air quotes.
Yeah, so I was floored, and that's when I decided I'm going to help other people do this. And I get people give me a hard time. Why do you put so much free stuff out on YouTube? I do. I will, anything that people are struggling, Amazon ads, how to do copyright. I mean, you go to my YouTube channel and you will find a ton of stuff, free walkthrough tutorial kind of stuff. It's not going to sell you anything. It's just going to be there for you. I also have a free Facebook group called Learn to Self-Publish with April Cox. It's all free, because there are a lot of people out there, and I was one of them. When I first started, I couldn't have afforded to pay for a consultant, but I wanted to find information that I could trust and people I could trust. And there were not very many of them out there that weren't holding on to all of the jewels and gems and giving you teasers, and then wanting you to pay for consulting with them that was going to cost tens of thousands of dollars. And I just didn't have that. So I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm putting it all out there. And now the whole difference is I've got people coming to me for consulting and help, but they're coming saying, I got my copyright done. I followed your this and that and this, and I'm ready. And I'm so excited when I see that people have been able to navigate all of my free stuff and really understand what they're doing, and then come to me ready, knowing that they need some extra hand holding, but they've gotten through all of the stuff that normally would have, confounded the newbies trying to get their books going.
Wow. I love that, and I love that you put the content out there for those who are good at self-serving and DIY, so they can at least get to that next level without
Mhm.
having to, I mean, delay with back and forth or whatever the case may be. I mean, authors being introverts, sometimes it's difficult to ask for help. So, oh,
Yeah.
good, I can learn I can learn some things from April and from the content she puts out there for free. And then once I get to a point where, okay, introvert that I am, I now need I need that extra help.
Right.
You're
Right.
there, but you've also removed a whole bunch of time and expense for them too by that point, right?
Yes, exactly. And I also, this 12-week course of mine where I'm taking people from um, sign up for, and actually the signups are going on now for early bird enrollment, but bring me your completed manuscript, and in 12 weeks you're going to have a published book. And
Is
because
this for specific age groups of books? Is it only for fiction?
it's
Is it for nonfiction for?
No, it's for children's books. And by the way, a lot of people come to me and say, "Well, I have a chapter book, or I have,
Yeah,
will this work for adult books or my workbook that I'm doing?" And most of the time, the answer is yes.
right.
I've even had some who had memoirs, and I mean, obviously that takes a lot longer to edit than a children's book,
Yeah,
but they don't have to go through all of the illustrations. So their
right,
editing kind of takes up the editing and illustration process. And as long
right,
as it's able to fit in that framework, then everything else can kind of play, because you need to know how to market. You need to have a press kit. You need to know, what it means to build an email list. And every single week we talk about a marketing topic. We continue to support them with their own private Facebook group. I'm live twice a week, and I think that's a big differentiator, because we have group coaching sessions that builds a beautiful community that of people that are there helping and supporting each other. Plus, they have offline my videos and my tutorials, my templates, like an author illustrator contract that cost me $12,000 to create.
wow,
When I messed up with my first book and signed a contract, I didn't know what I was doing, and it took me a lot to unravel that whole thing. And I got an attorney to help me unravel it. And I said, make sure this never happens to me again. So
yeah,
he put together a template, an author illustrator contract, and some other additional templates. And that cost me $12,000. It's inside. All the tools and templates that I provide to my client, to my authors, are all there. I share the template with them.
yeah,
They also, one of the other big things that I have done as somebody who has been in the corporate world for a long time, the one way that you need to be able to be successful is being really good at developing networks and collaboration. So I have created lists of pre-vetted illustrators who accept my contract, which
right,
is, work for hire. The author is going to own all of the artwork. They're going to get source files. I've built with Praise Safler a team of people in the Philippines that are doing book formatting.
yeah,
And all of the folks that come, they're like, here's my network. These are all people you can trust that are going to do an amazing job for you. And if they don't, I will step in and help,
right.
however, to resolve whatever issues. So that is, a big part, I think, of the success and the whole idea of how we get done in 12 weeks.
Oh, wow, I love that, and I love that you provide content, you provide information, you provide inspiration, ideas, templates, etc. And it seems like you're offering it for people in different ways that they prefer to work, right? So you can go
Mhm.
and check out the
Right.
free content. You can sign up for a course if you want that structure, but you've launched or are launching another way that authors can learn about the business of publishing. Can you talk a little bit more about the summit that you're
Yeah.
running?
So I felt, and again, I'm always looking for things that are tripping up the authors that I work with, and how can I fix that? And also things that tripped me up. And one of those biggest things was the business side. How do we, what kind of business format do we get? Should we have? What are the things about taxes that we need to know? Because once you're a published author, it's like, hooray, my dream came true. I've been planning this for years. But now what? Like, is it a business? Is it not a business? Are you a sole proprietor, a solopreneur? Do you want this to grow? What kind of marketing do you need to do? Like, there's so many questions that happens after the publishing. And for those that get it wrong, they can there can be severe consequences between taxes and losing their business or preventing their business from really growing the way that it should. So I looked and I saw these summits, and I'm like, there's summits for everything. I was getting so sick and tired of seeing summits this and summits that. But there was a writing summit, and there was a publishing summit, and then a marketing one. And I'm like, well, where's all the information about the business side? Because I felt like we weren't really talking about that. And it's something that was so important. So I said, well, I'm just going to do it. And I talked with somebody. So I was like, oh, let me talk to my network of people who are doing these summits. And they usually use somebody to help them facilitate the whole thing. Yeah. And I was like, well, I'm an IT geek. I can do it. So I decided to take that on and do it myself, which is crazy because I've been very busy with all of the interviews. But yes, my goal was to give people all of the information that I'm seeing. So we have an amazing, and of course, yours is one of my favorite interviews. You were there chatting with me about things that authorpreneurs need to know. I had Brian Cohen, who I was able to interview. And it's funny, we touched a little bit on ads, but the whole interview was about the business side. How has he been successful? What are the things that he has learned over the years? It was an amazing interview. Dave Chesson, same thing. Alexa Bigwharf, she is the host of the Women in Publishing Summit, and she talks about essential advice for authors. I have Brian Rump, who is a Business Made Simple coach, and that's Donald Miller's company. I was trying to get Donald Miller, but it was $30,000 to have him speak and do a keynote. And I was like, I just can't afford that. Maybe someday, right? But no. So I got one of his best coaches, and he is talking about all the business basics that authorpreneurs need to know about. I have Melissa Ricker, who is one of my coaches. She's also a huge about funnels and scaling and being able to scale your business and grow your business. Right. Melanie Johnson, how to 10x your business with using your book. Jay Maletsky, how to create $1 million author business. Dale Roberts talking about the YouTube side of things. Julie Broad from Book Launchers about 5 ways to turn your book into a business. Erin Wright, Wide for the Win. Accounting for Authors with D.F. Hart, your co-author. Business formation. What kind of business formation is right for you? With Michelle Hughes, and she's going to talk about taxes. Kevin Tomlinson, formerly from Draft to Digital, and so many more about the marketing and publicity and all the things that we need to know as a business owner to get messaging and branding and growing our business. So it is so amazing. It is coming together really well, and people can actually go and sign up now so that they can get this 100% free. The dates are 12/4 to 12/8. So it's a free pass for the week. And then if you upgrade...
Let's speak Canadian for me here. So the dates are December
4th
to
the 8th.
To the 8th of 2023. And I'm saying that for the benefit of the people. Hi, everyone in the future beyond 2023. Okay. All right. So cool. Wow. Oh, and that's coming up very soon, but you can sign up now. So we're doing this.
You can sign up now. And what I'm going to do for those that sign up now, I'm doing some like extra bonuses and things that I'm going to be releasing. Right now, I'm doing one on Amazon ads. I'm doing my Amazon ads training. and hands-on stuff. So I'm going to take the recorded session of that and I'm putting it out there. I'm going to drip some additional bonuses out between now and when things start. And so those that sign up sooner will get access to this stuff earlier, maybe with some sneak peeks from some of the sessions and things like that. So it's going to be an amazing summit, and I'm sure I'll learn a lot from it that I'll be able to do with next year's summit. But I'm really excited about it.
Oh, that's fantastic. So what's the URL? Where can people sign up and check this out?
It's called authorpreneursummit.com.
Authorpreneursummit.com. We will, of course, have a link to that in the show notes at starkreflections.ca. Wow. So excited. Like, I almost want to just kind of wrap this up so I can go get the links and everything posted. But
thank you. I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to chat about this. And every single thing that I have wanted to learn or that I have struggled with or I've seen of the 1,500 authors I've worked with where I've seen them stumble, I've found a speaker, and an amazing speaker, to tie this all together. So far, I think we've got 35, and I've got a few more people that just confirmed that they would be able to attend as well. I've got one of them is from SCORE, which is, I was talking about funding and how to get, free mentoring as a business owner. And so I've been reaching out to SCORE, and they finally got back to me and said that they were going to make a speaker available for me as well. So there's still more coming that are not yet posted out there, but it's going to be amazing.
Oh man, so looking forward to this as well. I mean, yes, I had a chance to chat with you about it for my bit, but I look at all the other content and think so much to learn, so many ways to grow. Where to begin? Well, I have an idea. Where can people begin again? Where can they check out, sign up to get in on this?
Authorpreneursummit.com.
Awesome. Oh my God, that's so exciting. And April, can you please let my listeners know where they can find out more about you online? So if they're looking specifically to work with Little Labradoodle Publishing, or obviously there's probably going to be links to the summit from there as well. Where can they find out about you?
Yeah. So if you go to selfpub, P-U-B, pub, like short for publishing, selfpubmadesimple.com. That's my website.
Okay.
And my self-publishing made simple is kind of how I've branded myself and the work that I do with authors. So you can also find me at Self-Publishing Made Simple with April Cox on YouTube, and also Learn to Self-Publish with April Cox on Facebook. So all of that information will all be there, found on my website. And we also do have some early bird signups right now going on for my upcoming January author group, which is going to be 12 weeks to self-published. And I'm really excited to open it up for early bird signups. And what we're going to do is we're giving away a bonus worth about $500. We're going to get started in the month of November, and we're going to be doing evaluations of manuscripts. We're going to be doing training for authors to help them prepare their manuscripts for editing, and also prepare and work with and select an illustrator so that by the time January rolls around, they're going to hit the ground running, and they're going to get all of that early bird stuff for free when they sign up before mid-November.
Wow, so much. And just a reminder that all the links to the things that April mentions will be in the show notes at starkreflections.ca. April, as we begin to wrap up, I would love you to leave some words of wisdom for writers. And again, there's not as much content and information out there for writers of children's books, of picture books, and things like that. So what is some advice that you I wish I could endow writers with this information, inspiration, or knowledge, just like a message or information that you would love to make sure that they can walk away from this interview with?
Well, I'm a really huge advocate for independent authors, and I see so many people feeling like they need to go and the route of traditional publishing, and they're getting rejection letter after rejection letter. Some of them are working like 10 years to get their first yes. And I want to tell you right now, self-publishing does not mean it is less than anything. I will put any of the children's books that go through my program against traditionally published book, and you are going to see a huge, the synergy is there. You have the same quality, and the way that we do it in a way that you can be proud and put it next to any other book, and it will compete. And the big thing about it is I've got authors who are releasing one of them released 10 books in 2 years with me in my program. And there is no possible way in 2 years you're going to get that happening with traditional publishing. It is not less than, it is an amazing option, and there is a way to get it done. So put your stories out there. They make a difference in the world. There is a child that needs to hear it. And there are people like myself there that can support you and help you without taking advantage or running into issues with predatory publishers.
Awesome. April, thank you so much for those words of wisdom, and thank you for hanging out with me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy that you did.
I am constantly impressed with authors who go through something, learn some things, and then take the things that they've learned and spread the love, pay it forward, share that wealth of information with others. I took a look after talking with April. I took a look at her YouTube channel. I took a look at the website, Publishing Made Simple, and those URLs, again, we just heard, but the URLs, so youtube.com/@selfpubmadesimple and selfpubmadesimple.com. There's so much great content there, and it's all free. And that's one of the cool things about the summit as well. Yes, you can purchase a pass, so you have permanent access to those 5 days of content, but you can watch it for free. You do need to register, and of course, my link for registering for that is at starkreflections.ca/authorsummit2023. But going back to April's desire to help other authors, it's so intriguing because publishing books is hard enough. Publishing children's books is way harder. And one of the main reasons for that is most of the tools, like I said in the interview, most of the tools that have been designed for authors are meant for text-based books, not for visually laid out books and things like that. So there's not as many resources available for children's authors. And that focus of April's, with her website, with the support and the courses she offers, are really guided towards providing value to a community that doesn't have as much of that content available to them. So the lesson for us as authors is, what is that value that you can bring, and where can the things that you bring fill in those gaps? Now, this is something we think of when we think about our books themselves, right? When I pitch books, for example, to a publisher, I look to see, well, what other books like that are on the market? What gaps does this fill in the market? I do that in a more subtle effect with the stuff that I publish myself. And potentially, why did I write the book Wide for the Win? Why did I do books like Killing It on Kobo and An Author's Guide to Working with Bookstores and Library? I did it because I felt like there were very few books focusing on other retailers other than Amazon, that I wanted to help authors understand the mindset for publishing wide, and I wanted them to understand more about the business of writing and publishing and what it's like to work with bookstores and libraries, which is not something that indie authors really get a lot of exposure to, because 90% of the content out there is how to do crap on Amazon, basically. So in any case, I just wanted to remind you, as part of this reflection, to look for, in any way you can, look for where you're filling in gaps in the market, where the things that you're creating are supporting people, are providing content for people that may not have enough of that access or may not have any access to that material as well. That's a good place to start. Now, it doesn't mean you can't do the things that you're passionate about. I really think the beauty is where the merger of passion and the merger of providing content that's of need to the community, that's where the true magic happens. But I think it's important for us to be aware of those things. What are the things I get satisfaction from doing and creating? And who are the people who are going to benefit from getting access to that? It seems so simple, and yet it's something we often overlook. Whether or not you're planning on just taking advantage of the videos, watching them for free in early December, or whether you're going to take advantage of the opportunities to lock in and get access to those videos permanently so you can kind of watch them at your own leisure, go ahead and use my affiliate link. It's one of the ways you can help support me and this podcast. A huge thank you to those who support this podcast over at patreon.com/starkreflections. Huge shout out to all the awesome patrons. And of course, one of the other ways you can support the podcast is leaving a review for the podcast or sharing episodes with people that you think would find value. Well, that's it for my reflection. That's it for episode 331. Until next week, and episode 332, this is Mark Leslie Lefebvre wishing you great writing and good Stark Reflections.
Thank you for listening to the Stark Reflections podcast. You can find show notes for each episode at starkreflections.ca.
The music for this podcast, Laser Groove, was composed and produced by Kevin MacLeod. Check out more of Kevin's great music at incomptech.com.